So the road killing special. What I have noticed straight away is the engine is so smooth in comparison to a soft tail. It obviously feels so much heavier, so much heavier. It's just like, wow. I didn't think the engine would feel that much different from a soft tail to one of the touring bikes, but this is just super smooth. I know you hear it all the time, but it's night and day, the difference between the soft tail engine and the bagger. I know it's the same engine, but I don't know what they do to it, if it's better parts, whatever, but just so much more smoother. Very stable, very comfortable. The ergonomics for me, I'm saying 5'6", 5'7" on a good day. The bars are a little bit too forward for me. Everybody says they're too wide, but they feel pretty similar to the Sport Glide, to be fair. They don't feel a lot different. Just, I think if they could be angled back inch, 2 inches, then they would be fine for me. The seat, yeah, I'm tucked into the back of the seat, but I could do with it just, again, a couple of inches more forward, and a little bit narrower at the front, and that would make it a lot easier for me to flat foot. I can flat foot if I scooch forward, but if I'm sat right back in the seat, I'm on the balls of my feet when I touch down. But in the car park, I've just tried to manoeuvre it, like duck walk it, and I can do that. I don't know if I could do it on an incline, obviously, but on flat ground I could. So when you're parking, it would take a lot more thought and planning to get in the right position, that you're not going to be stranded. But apart from that, so far, yeah, very good, very nice. Didn't think I'd be able to handle the bagger, but so far so good. So far so good. But the ergonomics are far better for me over the lowrider. The lowrider, I just couldn't get on the ergonomics. This, the feet position's perfect. The only downside I'm finding is these bars are a bit of a stretch, but I'm sure that could be rectified. And the cluster position, I don't understand the indicators and everything that being so much further down. I'm used to them on the speedo, on this analog clock, everything within that, but you've got a strip below that which these sit on, which obviously then you need to look even further down, which could be a problem. Yep, so initial thoughts, like it very much, like it very much. This is the sort of bike I would get if I was looking to trade in a Sport Glide at some point, but I've been told it's like having a tuxedo. Every time you want to get it out, you want to use it for its main purpose, like touring, going long distance. Now obviously I only do that maybe once or twice a year. Is it worth spending that sort of money to get that sort of use out of it? So I wanted to see if that's the case, if I feel like, would I ride this not on a day-to-day basis, or not day-to-day basis, just for the weekends, or would it feel too much bike to do that? So that's my main objective for this ride. See if it's too cumbersome. At the moment it feels fine, to be fair, but it's a big step up from the Sport Glide, both in cost and weight, so it's something I need to consider. The back brake feels not that responsive, but maybe it's just me. I just got to get used to the position of it and how to use it. But at the moment, yeah, when I'm hitting that back brake, it doesn't seem to have a lot there. The front brake is fine, but again, at the beginning of the Lowrider S test ride, I was really self-conscious about certain bits of that, so and by the end it was fine. It was only a couple of bits there that we needed to worry about, and I'm sure it's going to be the same with this after an hour in the saddle with this, and we'll know a little bit more about the pros and cons. The only negative I could feel about this is it doesn't feel like riding a Harley. I know it sounds stupid, because I'm only used to like the soft tails, and maybe this is what riding a Harley is all really like. But there's a bit of vibration, mainly through the bars, but it doesn't feel like the roar of a Harley. Well, maybe you say that's because I'm sitting on it. People around me may be thinking something completely different, but it just feels so much more refined, which I suppose for a touring model that's what you want. I feel like you can lean this more as well. I know it's got a better lean angle, but it just feels easier to lean around the corners. And the engine braking's good as well. Going into these corners and just pulling off the throttle, and the engine braking's just enough at the moment. So I believe this is a 114 engine, the Lowrider S 2022. I believe that's still 114, however it might be 117. I know the 117s have been put on the STs, but I'm not sure about the standard Lowrider S, because this is, as I say, it's not a review with regards to the specs and the controls. If you've seen any Harley videos, they're all the same, and the specs are easy enough for you to look up. It's just about the feeling of riding it. For me, my stature, say 5'6", about 10 stone or 72 kilos, whatever that is in stone. And not that much experience. So basically, I've only been riding again, I'm in my 50s now. I was riding again for about 7 years, but not seriously. I started off on a Kawasaki Vulcan S, which is a 650 cruiser style bike, then went back into the bikes I know, which are the naked street. So I've had a Ducati Monster, and then I've gone to a Harley Sport Glide, Softail Sport Glide, which was a big step up for the weight and obviously the CC, and now this is the next step up again. So I'm just letting you know from my perspective how it feels, if it's manageable, if I think I could ride this constantly, or if it's going to be too much for me. So yeah, this is where the angle of the video is coming from, more than any specific specs or anything like that. It's certainly enjoyable, certainly comfortable. You could imagine being in the saddle of this all day without too many problems. Just with the bars, to say, if we could sweep them back another couple of inch or two, and that would probably bring it just below my shoulder line as well. And I think it'll be about spot on, to be fair. I don't think I'd need any more power. I think this is all the power I'd need. I don't think I'd need any more. Famous last words, as everybody knows, but yeah, I don't think I would. And I like the bike as it is, so if I did buy something like this, it would be, I'd leave it fairly basically stock. Might add a windshield, a small windshield, like Memphis shades, fats or slim, whatever suited the bike. Maybe a aftermarket seat will push me forward a little bit more and a bit narrower on the front. But apart from that, I can't, at the moment, I can't see what else I would change. It's all blacked out, which is, again, if you see my Sport Glide, if you've seen a video of my Sport Glide, you'll know I've gone the opposite way, really. I've put more chrome on the Sport Glide, but I think that just stands out and it suits that bike. But this all in black, yeah, I wouldn't want to change it. I think it looks really smart. National speed limit, let's see if we can open it up. Oh yeah, it's got power. It's got loads of power. You would need, I would certainly wouldn't need any more than that. That's more than enough. Okay, only now my top of my shoulders are starting to wake. I think that's where I'm just stretching a little bit for these bars. As I say, the width is fine for me. Everybody complains about the width of them, but for me they're fine. Just need to be pulled back just a little bit. I need to try the Heritage Classic as well on the 114. See how that performs up against this. Because I hear it's very similar, it's just the platform is obviously the Softail platform, which then makes it a lot lighter, but has the same sort of capabilities, albeit not so good on touring as this, but gives you the same sort of space and room. So I don't know, I think I'd need to check the Heritage Classic out as well on the 114 and have a look at that first before I made the decision if I was going to look to swap out and upgrade. But yeah, I definitely like this, but I love my Sport Glide as well. So what do you do? I'm certainly not one that can afford two Harley Davidsons, that's for sure. Right, on the A3, up to full speed now, 78 miles an hour. Yeah, it's stable. I'm not really being affected by the wind. You are getting some gusting, but nothing like a Softail. But again, I don't know if that's my imagination. But yeah, if I did get it, I would want some formal invitation, so maybe say like a Memphis shade screen. But like this, it seems fine so far. Well, once again, many thanks to Harley Davidson Guildford, Lind, for arranging this demo day. As I say, it's all on Facebook. You could have chosen between six bikes. They had 3 time slots. You just choose your time slot, your time slots and your bike, and then you got the tour guide in front of us here, and you just follow him round. Don't mind what you do as long as you don't overtake him. That was the only rule. So brilliant. Yeah, so today I've taken out the Lowrider S and this, the Road King Special. If you want to see about the experiences with the Lowrider S, have a look at that video. But for this, the Road King Special, it's exceeded my expectations really. Of course it's a big heavy bike, of course, and I would need to, if I was ever going to buy one, I'd need to do a lot more riding on it around town conditions and stuff like that, because that would be the crux of the matter, if I could handle it around town. I mean, today it's been fine, but it hasn't been a lot of traffic and not bad conditions, but on the open road it's amazing. It's amazing. The 114 has got more than enough power for this big heavy bike. I think it's got enough room on the back for my missus, which is a big thing, because the Sport Glide, once you got the Saddleman Explorer seat, that sort of narrows down a space. So yeah, would I buy it? Yeah, I would, without hesitation. The only thing I'd need to do is check the Heritage Classic as well in the 114. Very similar in styling, but obviously on the soft tail platform, which would make it lighter. But for the touring platform, it's been brilliant. The engine is smooth, the gearbox is smooth, no effort in riding the bike at all, especially when you're on the go. So yeah, would I recommend it? Highly, yeah, definitely. And if you're taller than 5'6", 5'7", then yeah, definitely. For 5'6", 5'7", the things I need to be aware of: need to pull those bars back a little bit, see if I can put the seat forward a bit. What else did I say? A screen, and that's about it. Not sure about getting the kickstand on and off. It's a little bit of a reach, but I'm sure there's a solution for that. But yeah, brilliant, really good. So once again, yeah, thanks. Big shout out to Harley Davidson Lind in Guildford. Really good. If you want any advice on Harleys, fancy a test ride, pop down and see them, and I'm sure they'll help you out. But yeah, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.